Hello everyone. Today we're going to create a grenade, and we're going to have a system that will show where the grenade is actually going to land in the world. So the first thing we need to do is to actually create the grenade itself. So in my weapon folder from my previous tutorials, I'm just going to make one called grenade. And then in here, we're going to create an actor, BP underscore grenade. There we go. So now we're in here. The first thing we are going to do is give it a actual mesh. I'm just going to use a sphere for this, and I'm going to set it to be the default scene root. The scale, I'm going to give it to 0 0.2, 0 0.2, 0 0.2, because we only want a small thing. Next thing will be, we will add a projectile movement component. And this just will turn this actor into a projectile, basically. If we click on projectile movement, we've got some settings on the right. The initial speed, I'm going to set to 1500, and the max speed will be 1500. So the initial speed and the max speed will be the same. I want mine to bounce, and then that should be it. Let me double check. Yep. So next will be actually launching the projectile. So in your first person character, or whichever character you're using, I'm going to create I'll do the input first, actually. So we've got the input and actions. We can use jump, IA underscore throw grenade. Let's just do that. Pressed and released. Yeah, that's what we need. So IA underscore throw grenade. So what we're going to do here is make it so that something will spawn in the world that we can move around, and that will actually show where the grenade is going to be thrown. So actually, before we do that, we need to make the spot in the world. So make another actor, BP underscore grenade target. And then in here, I'm going to use a cylinder, and I'm going to make it 0 0.02 in the Z, so it crunches it down, and I think that should be okay. Let's just use basic asset 0 this, so it's orange. What we need to do on this spot is in the begin play, we want an is valid check. From the input would be self. The invalid, we're going to do a delay. The delay value is going to be 0.005. This is just what I'm using. And completed, we are going to destroy the actor, because we're basically going to spawn something in the world and then destroy it instantly. The cylinder, if we click up here, the collision, we can just no collision, because we don't want it to interact with the world or anything. Right, so now back to the first person character. So what we want to do is, when we actually push the button, we want to start a timer. So from started, we can pull out and do set timer by event. The time is going to be get world delta seconds, and then we need it to loop, and max every 1 frame should be fine. Pull down from the event here and do custom event, and we'll call this draw grenade spot. We're going to promote this to a variable. So right click the return, promote a variable, and we can call this grenade timer like this. So the event that we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is pull out here and do predict projectile path advanced. So this will, based on the information you feed in, that we can right click predict params and split it. So based on what we feed in, it can predict where the projectile will actually go. So for this, I'm going to add a billboard actor component onto my player. I'm just going to put it forward a bit, like this. And we're just going to use this as a reference from where the grenade will come from. So I'm going to pull off the billboard here, and we're going to do get world location. And that will be the start location. Now, the launch velocity is based on the max speed of the current speed. So because I've set that to 1500, I found that using 1400 here basically puts the grenade in the middle of the object that we're going to spawn. So you would need to calculate this by using the max speed. So what we want to do is get control rotation. We're going to get the forward vector so we can tell which way the player is facing. Multiply. We right click the vector and float. And we're going to put 1400. And that will be the launch velocity. Right? Next, I'm going to pull from predicted result and break. And then split the hit result like this. So now we can see everything that the projectile path is done. We can actually see where the point of hit, because it does like multiple little traces to detect. I think I can actually show it if I do persistence. If I just press. No, I need to. Before we forget, when you add a new input action, make sure you add it to your the input mapping context to assign a button. So grenade, and then G. So let's see now. So yeah, no, it's we forgot to stop the. This is what happens if you don't stop the timer. To show it, I can turn off looping here. Turn that back on. So we don't actually need this on. That is a good way to test to see. But you can set like the gravity of your world and things like that, and the radius and everything. We want to also predict param trace with collision. So from here, we are going to pull off the top here and do spawn actor from class. The actor is going to be the grenade target. Spawn transform, we're going to pull out and do make transform. Now this. The impact point here will go into location. The hit result impact normal, this one, will just plug into rotation and it will make this like this. So now if we try this and I press the button, you can see it is spawned in, but it's not doing as it should. It's the wrong angle. So for me to fix this, I need to take the cylinder. I need to actually rotate it 90 degrees. Then if we try it and press it, so now it's in the correct rotation. So if I put it on the wall, if I put it on a box, you can see that it's showing where it will go. The thing we want to do next is in the character. Let me just unpin that. we need to, once we've let go of the button, we need to stop the timer and throw the grenade, like launch it. So from the completed, we can pull off and do clear and invalidate timer by handle. The handle will be the grenade timer, like this. Then we want to actually spawn actor from class. This will be the grenade. So we do grenade, BP grenade. We need to make a new transform from the billboard, which is where the grenade is launching. We get world location. Then, same as before, get control rotation. And then plug that into, and then get forward. Actually, we don't need we just need the get control rotation for that one. So now if I hold this, if I hold down, we see the thing. If I let go, the grenade comes out. So to test it, if I hold and like that, you can see the grenade will actually hit the spot. So you can see exactly where your grenade will go. Like that. If I want to hit that roughly in the middle, I throw it a little bit high. So it might be because of this not matching. So if we try 1500 to match it perfectly, and then we try, so yeah, it looks like that is it. So now it matches up. So roughly there. Yeah. So you just match this value here to the initial speed of your projectile. So that is the basics for this. Or like throwing it and it hitting the thing. So the next thing will be the grenade actual doing something, because at the moment it just appears out. So let's do that. There's a few different ways of doing grenades, so I'll try and show a few. There's one which is just you sphere trace and then you cause damage in an area. There's one that is more for if you wanted an explosion that would shoot shrapnel out. So you could do like you could have line traces go out and hit multiple different objects. We can do things like that. So I think for starters, I think I'm going to do the shrapnel grenade because it's the one I used previously in a game jam we did, or I did, or took part in. So for this one, we are going to need to add a radial force to the grenade actor, and that is basically that will launch once it's triggered. It will shoot out and knock things back and do things in the environment if that's something you need. The radius for that, I'm going to do 400. The impulse strength is fine at that, 1000. I'm going to impulse velocity change and ignore owning actor. The force strength, I'm going to increase it to 1000. So let's do this. The delay. So this is how long the grenade will be alive for before it does anything. So I say it's 2 seconds. On completed, we're going to multi-sphere trace by channel. And then this will basically do a sphere trace that will see how many objects are in the sphere and apply damage to them all. I'm actually not going to do the shrapnel one now. I'm going to do that later. So I'm just going to do a simple explode and then deal damage. We want to get the sphere. We want to get world's location. We can do the start and the end the same because we know where it's going to start and end. The draw debug I'm going to say is persistent, so we can check. And the radius will be 400 because that's what we've set as the knockback. The out hits, we want to do it for each. So every actor that this hits, we are going to run a check on it. We're going to put a branch. I'm going to check if it actually hits something. We're going to pull out from the array element and we're going to break it. So we can see now what type of actor there is, or what is around. If you was just gonna do, like, you want to hit every actor, we can do a apply damage. We want that to false. No, sorry. We want that to true. The damaged actor will go into hit actor, and the damage, this is how much damage you want to deal, so 100. The damage causer that you need will be self. So the grenade is the one that caused the damage. This is so whichever target gets hit knows where the damage came from. So after that, once the grenade is exploded, it's done that, we're going to, on the completed, we are going to get the radial force and we are going to fire impulse. So that will do the knockback. Plug that into completed. Then we're doing a self. We're going to check if we are valid, if we're still alive. If we are valid, we are going to destroy actor ourselves. So if we do this now, if I check, if we throw the grenade, it will explode. So it's hit these actors here. If I throw it over here, for example, so we throw it there, it's going to bounce. Oh, it missed. Let's try and do that. See, so we got the knockback from that direction. So what you could do here is you could create a interface for your enemies, and then you could, instead of applying the damage here, you could from here and then call the interface effect, which would then mean only actors that have that effect, that interface, would take damage. But I don't have one in this. But I could show it's done actually. Put it here. So you would create a blueprint and then interface. So we could call this BPI_enemy. In here you could do like a hit by grenade. And then we could have a float value just to send the data over of the grenade here. And then the damage causer we need, so that would be, what is the reference for that? Actor object, oops, you saw my background. Damage causer, actor object, actor, we just need actor object reference. So then instead of apply damage here, from the hit actor, we could pull off and say, hit by grenade message, true. The where it says float should be the damage, and this here. So it should have updated. Let me refresh it. Refresh node. There we go. So this is where you would put the damage in. So you could have different amounts of damage. So say we'd put the 100. The damage causer, we would put the self into that. And then as an example, let me make a test enemy. So test enemy do that and let's just give it a no, not we don't want to give it a little, give it this. And then in the class settings, we would implement the enemy interface. And hit by grenade, we would do print string. Now I have been hit. Then we would apply damage. The damaged actor would be self. The base damage would be damage, and the damage causer would be the damage causer. So if we try this now, we pull this in. We throw a couple of grenades. See if anyone hit. And that one didn't hit. Yeah, hitting. Oh, he doesn't have collision. Collision block all. Try now. Throw a grenade. See, so he's been hit by the grenade multiple times. So he will take multiple amounts of damage. The next one is going to be the shrapnel grenade. So back in grenade, I've just removed all the other things that were already in. First thing, we want the delay. I'm going to set that to 2 seconds. I'm going to do a sphere trace just to show the explosion range while we're testing. Pull the sphere out. We're going to get world location. That will go in the start and the end, and then the radius will be the radius of the radial force, which is 400. So we will do persistent on that to see. From this, we want a for loop, and then I already made the thing. I right-clicked and promoted the variable here. This is the amount of traces that will be fired out, like the amount of shrapnel. So for this, I've set to 35. The loop body, we are going to line trace by channel. The start, we can copy the sphere and get world location. The end is where we do a little bit of maths. This is just what worked for me. I'm very awful at maths, so please, I would play around with this and see what effect you get. So the first thing is we want to random float in range. The max value will be 360. We want to pull off and do D to R to turn degrees into radians. From this one, we want a cosine radian into a plus, which you can add. We don't need 2. We just need 2. We need another, which would D to R. And then that would be a sin or sine. Plug that in. From this, we can do make vector. And this needs to be into X, so I'll put that X. The Y will be this part here from the sine. So we can do Y like this. The Z will be a random float in range between, for me, 2 degrees and 45. Then D to R, so turn into radians, and plug that in. We're going to multiply this vector. We're going to float. This is how far it's going to shoot out. So 400, because that's the range of the sphere setup and the radial force, so it matches. We plus, this one needs to be on the bottom, and get world location needs to be the top. And then we plug that into end. We can draw debug. So out hit, we can break. we can do a branch to see if we actually hit anything. Blocking hit. And then, like earlier, this is where you could run your logic on applying damage to things or whatever you would want. So if we were going to do, we would do like grenade, hit by grenade, true. This is where we'd set the values again. So damage cause would be self, damage would be 100. But now, if we check this, we throw the grenade out. So now it's shot out these traces. So this is how you could do shrapnel. You could send smaller projectiles off from this to hit other things, or like a cluster grenade or something. So like when this hit, instead of launching line traces, it would shoot out other objects that would cause damage. But this is just how I've done it. So you can see when it goes off, like he's been hit by a few. So instead of having one grenade that does a lot of damage, you can have it, if you're unfortunate enough to hit by enough shrapnel, you would take more damage. But these are the two grenade types that I normally use. Just because they're quite simple. So this will still do the knockback. If I throw that over here. Oh, no, it's not applied. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're missing the knockback. So what we can do on the completed, pull off the radial force and then apply, is it impulse? Apply impulse, sorry. And then put that in. So now if I check and go over here, so I throw the grenade and then I want to throw the grenade like there. There we go. So that's just quite a nice way of having these, a way to show where the grenade is actually going to hit for the first time. So you could build like a different way of showing this, like a custom mesh or something. But so I want the grenade to like go here, like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any suggestions on things you want, please leave them in the comments. If you want to support, I have a buy me a coffee thing that some people have used, which is really nice, which I appreciate. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.